I'm Alayna and I'm a part of the VicXposure team. I hope you're having a lovely day or night so far, and today I will be giving you a quick guide into portrait photography. The video will be split into 3 parts and there will also be timestamps provided in the description box. First off, we have how to get started. For equipment, I use a Canon 80D with a 50mm 1.8 lens. As for finding people to collaborate with or finding models to photograph, I mainly go on Instagram and I look through hashtags, my explore page, and I also look at who other photography accounts or model accounts are following, and if I see anyone I'd like to collaborate with, I reach out to them. I say definitely don't be afraid to put yourself out there. For this photo shoot, I collaborated with Rad Jewels on Instagram. They are a small jewelry business. And for models, I asked my friends and I also asked them if they knew anyone who might be interested in modeling some jewelry, and that's how this photo shoot came to be. So yes, if you have friends who are interested in modeling, you guys could have fun photo shoots together. Next, we have the planning process. So this is where you plan for makeup, outfits, location, props, and maybe even a theme. So themes could be like picnic, street style, things like that, just to help you get a general vibe of the photo shoot. To keep in mind, for this particular photo shoot, the focus was on jewelry instead of the models. At this point in time, Reina, the owner of Rad Jewels, didn't have the jewelry made yet, and so she sent me a color scheme that I could go off of. What we ended up doing though is once Reina had finished the jewelry, we sent the photos to the models and asked if they had any outfit ideas. I would also ask if they had clothing pieces of a particular color, like blue, green, brown. For makeup and hair, I looked through Instagram and Pinterest. For some of the models, I already had ideas in mind. For others, I wasn't particularly sure, so I would ask them what they thought about a hairstyle. This is a very collaborative process, and the time-consuming part of this planning process was not really knowing how the outfits would go together, and so I had the models send a photo of themselves in the outfits, and I would create a mini collage of different combinations and discuss that with Reina. Another important part of the planning process is poses. If you're not familiar or not really experienced with portrait photography and you think you might need help, it is always a good idea to have a Pinterest board or have reference photos saved in your photo gallery so you can use it for backup in case you're running out of ideas. For this photo shoot, I already had a few ideas in mind and went with that, but an example of when a Pinterest board came in handy was when I did a maternity photo shoot. I had no prior experience, but I came ready with poses in mind and also shared pose ideas with my clients to get an idea of what they'd be comfortable with doing or what kind of photos they would like. Now on to the actual photo shoot. We took the photos at a park-like area in Hong Kong because we wanted some greenery. Something else you could do as part of the planning process is to go to the location, particularly if it's a new place. That way you can have your spots picked out and also confirm if you really want to take your photos at that location. When you are ready to take photos, one of the first things to be mindful of is lighting. Normally, the rule of thumb is to have the lighting source face the model. I typically like to work with natural light, which is the sun, so weather would be another good thing to keep in mind when planning for photo shoots. In this clip, the sun was facing the side of the models, so I had them redirect their bodies. I think it looks a lot better when the sun is facing the models. I'd also like to mention that in times like golden hour, specifically, the sun behind the model looks fabulous. To make the photo more interesting, I typically have the models face different directions, and this also applies for individual portraits. I have the model look to the side, look up, and etc. As mentioned before, the focus of this photo shoot is the jewelry, so it's important to showcase it. With that in mind, we wouldn't want to have the clothes cover the jewelry. Also, especially as a photographer who doesn't have a team or an assistant photographer, a lot of the little details are things I have to look out for. So these would be things like hair, placement of outerwear, clothes, accessories, and props. Speaking of props are another great way to spice up the photos. So here, as you can see, I brought a fabric that they could lie down on, and I brought other options just in case I wanted to use them. Now I'm just gonna play a time lapse to give you a glimpse into what it looks like. at the photo shoot, it's also a good idea to show your work to whoever you're collaborating with. A great thing about group photo shoots is that there are more people to help you out and also more people to exchange ideas and thoughts with. I really enjoy the collaborative process. Here we have an example where one of the models wanted the reflective shimmer of the fabric to be more apparent. This was something I had not noticed and I thought it was a great idea, so that is what we tried to go for. In the same spots, a huge part of the jewelry were covered by shadows, so I had the model change sides. That way there will be more sunlight facing the jewelry instead of it being behind the model. As the one taking the photos, you're aware of what the models look like while the models don't. So hype the models up, let them know that they're stunning, beautiful, and that they're doing an amazing job. Give them a confidence boost. That concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope your term has been going well so far. We've got around a month left, so we're almost there. I hope this video was helpful and maybe you learned something new. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, VicXposure will be creating an e-magazine that you can be a part of. You can submit your work according to our specified theme of documenting everyday life, or you could submit a photo essay where you choose your own theme. There is also a form for some community engagement regarding questions we have for you and questions you may have for us or about photography. The forms are in the description box and they will be due April 9th, which is a Friday. More information are in the forms, so check them out. If you have any questions, you can email us or message us on Instagram.